All right, question 16 asks you to compare and contrast the methods for determining the structure of a protein. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Well, the big three are X-ray crystallography, NMR, and cryo-EM. Now, X-ray crystallography gives you very high-resolution pictures of a protein, but they are static pictures, and they require, in order to get that structure, you have to first succeed at growing protein crystals, which can be very tiresome, and is kind of a hit or miss sort of approach. NMR is another technique we can use. Now, NMR has advantages in that it shows you some of the movements that the protein is undergoing. So NMR is not a static picture of a protein, it's actually a dynamic picture that you get out. But one of the problems with NMR is that it is limited by the size of the protein, so it can only be used for very, very small proteins. The last technique that can be used is cryo-electron microscopy. Now, cryo-electron microscopy has traditionally been limited because of the resolution. It's not possible to, it hasn't been possible until very recently to see exact atom positions with cryo-EM. And in addition to that, it was traditionally only used for very, very large proteins. Now, in the last 5 years, there have been tremendous advances in cryo-electron microscopy where, in certain cases, we've been able to get atomic resolution and see exact atom positions, even with relatively small proteins. And on top of that, we can even see different sort of conformational changes and movements that are happening in proteins. So the limitations that still do exist are cryo-EM is generally used for large proteins and generally gives poor resolution. But as I said, that is beginning to change. Advantages are that it doesn't require you to grow crystals or to do complex NMR experiments.